Other reminders with registers is just remember, we don't ring ourselves out. That's just kind of bad business. It's questionable business. So we just don't do that. If we have friends or family that come through the line, we also don't want to ring them out. Just as a good practice, you never want anything to happen that makes anyone question anything. We just are very upfront. We're really clear. It's the same reason why we do the paid stickers on anything a staff member buys. It's so that there's no question, and you wouldn't ever have to deal with anyone questioning you, and nobody from the back end is has to ask the questions, and so it's just good business practices. The bathrooms. Okay, the bathrooms. Let's talk about the bathrooms. So there are septic issues. We have talked about septic issues a lot. Why are there septic issues? Because even though this barn is brand new, the septic system is not. There was a market here for a long time before we were even here. And so it's pretty an old system, but it's really expensive. And there's a lot of red tape and there's a lot of rules around you can't just dig a new septic system. You can't do that. And so we've been trying for a long time to do what we need to do to be as efficient and make it work and all the things. But there is a part in the septic system that is not currently working correctly, and it's going to be a big fix. It's going to be a really expensive fix. And so it's not something that we can tackle right now. And so even though we're all used to having really nice bathrooms, right now they're going to be shut down for a good while. And so there's no hand washing in there. There's no toilets. We did bring in Porta-Johns. Julie was nice enough to get 4 of them, for us. The more you have, the nicer they're going to stay. Right. And so, are those super fun to use? Of course not. Of course not. It's a Porta-John. You know what I mean? But we're going to try and keep them as nice as we can. We're going to clean them. We're going to keep them decent for everybody. And there's nothing wrong with it. Is it what we're used to? No. But are we too good for that? No. That is what all the other markets do. We are the only market that has a building. You know what I mean? And so we're going to use those. If you feel like that is something you can't do, that's okay. I'm not going to force you or anything like that. I'm not going to force you. But we do have to be mindful of our time here. I mean, that is our restrooms for now. And so if you feel like that's not for you, that's okay. You'll have to go on your break. You can go down to Thornton's. You can go down to Turkey Hill if you'd rather use the restrooms there. But you do have to go on your break for that. But we really can no longer use the restrooms here. It was really nice of Julie and Tom and Scott to leave the restrooms open for staff for those few days until we got Porta-Johns in here. So we weren't leaving and coming and going all the time. But now that we're here, the restrooms are closed completely, okay? So there's that. Other than that, samples, something we do for our customers. I think that's really nice that we do this for our customers. Something that we do is we give samples. We do samples on Saturdays and Sundays of 3 or 4 items. We keep those stocked. We allow customers to sample an ice cream before they commit to it, to sample a fudge before they commit to it. We even let them sample the slushie before we commit to it. But something you have to keep in mind is those samples are for the customers, okay? So, if you are a customer, feel free to try something before we buy it, okay? But if you are not being a customer at that time, we really shouldn't take advantage of all the samples that we have going on, okay? So let's be mindful of that. Other than that, closing time, this is just my reminder. Even though the doors lock and, the public is not here anymore, it doesn't mean our job is any less important or we have to get less done or the policies change or the culture changes. If we are still clocked in, then we need to still perform how we perform when people are here. Okay. And so I know that, sometimes when we close, there's a little bit of a, whew, all right, it's about time to go home. That was a long day. We got the corn busheled up, all those things. But really, it's not party time. It's not let down time. We have a lot to get done in about 2 hours. 2 hours? No, it's not 2 hours. It's an hour and a half. We have a lot to get done, and all of us are working hard to get it done because we want to leave this place as nice as possible for the next shift. We always want to leave what we're doing as nice as possible for the next shift. And so, we're going to get, have a little closing huddle. We're going to get the plan together. We're going to know who's doing what, and then we're going to go tackle it. But it's definitely not party time. It's not celebration that we're closed. We love our customers. We're not going to celebrate when they lock the door. And it's also not time to break out, ice cream samples and slushy samples. Okay. It's still work time. We're still being paid. If you clock out, then you can have a party, I guess. I don't know. But while we're clocked in, we're working. Okay. We're going to maintain the same standards, the same posture, the same goals as if we were open. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop this one. I'm going to start another one. Eee.